Okay everyone, I've put this off for far too long, but as many of you know, when it's too hot here in Texas, I can't do much outside. So it's finally cooling down, and it's a morning in October and in the shade. So this is the coax that goes to inside my shack for my secondary antenna when I test other antennas or put up an NVIS antenna other than my QTH antenna, which is a Hustler 6BTV vertical. And it goes through this UNUN from Palomar Engineers. So I've got a lot of extra coax here. I've got it all mounted. I've got my ground stuff here. So I'm going to get rid of all this excess cable, and I'm going to shorten this cable that goes from here to the other side of the polyphaser. And then we're going to seal all of my spots up. Over this last 7-8 months after I put this in, I've been using this bucket to cover it to keep it out of the weather, but we're going to seal everything up, and we're going to make this shorter runs and a lot neater. So let's get to it. Okay, so let's do the easiest thing first. Let's get rid of this coax here that connects the polyphaser to the UNUN and replace it with a little bit shorter one. So that's pretty simple. Let's just unscrew those, and we'll screw in the new one. This cable is half the length, I think, of the other one. And I'll just put that in there. And then next okay, those are nice and tight. And we'll seal those up after we do, next we're gonna cut. I'm gonna cut this cable here, and we're gonna shorten it so it's just reaches here, and we're gonna solder on a new connector. So I won't bore you with showing me soldering that and how long it takes me, but I'll get back on and we'll connect it to the top here. So one of the things I like to do when I do connectors, because I'm not that great at soldering all the connectors, I get this type with the pin, the center pin. I can solder it directly into that, and then I can slide it inside of here, because what my biggest problem has always been when the pin is built in and I try soldering it inside, I end up melting some of that insulation. So that's why I use these crimp-on. We slide it through. I pull the shield over the top of this, or underneath this, and then I crimp it down, and then of course I've got the shrink tubing and the top crimp. So these are great products. If I can find the link, I'll put the link in my description, but it saves people like us from melting that insulation inside, but still being able to solder the pin in the middle. I just wanted to add that this is a USB soldering pin that I made a video on, reviewed it, and it works great. So this is great for heating up quick and making a simple connection quickly. I found it heats up quicker than others. The alternative, now I'm here at home where I can connect my AC, so I do have power. Simon on Ham Jazz channel did a video on a butane soldering gun that would be great if you didn't have connection, but this is what I like using when I have power. But the butane option that Simon reviewed and did a video on, I think in August, is a great option as well. Check that video out. Okay, we've got the shorter length attached to the polyphaser side, the base of the UNUN. For noise suppression I use this. And then the new one, we've got soldered a new thing, tested the cable, and I've looped it twice just to give me a little extra. You never know when you might need to extend it. And then that all looks a little neater. I'll probably zip tie that. It goes there and then up into my attic. I'll go ahead and wrap these up to weatherproof them. And this one, it certainly would be easier if it's out, but I I drill the holes, and then I put in some liquid nails. So I'm not going to mess with that. I'm just going to wrap it, and I'll just show you the process that I do, and then I'm not going to record the entire wrapping process because it's going to be difficult to get around this. It's going to take me a little longer than normal. But anyway, I can speed that up if I do. So let's see how it goes. Okay, everyone, I'm just going to show you the tape options that are out there. I'm not going to show the actual taping most likely unless I set up a tripod or something and speed it up. But go over to Ham Radio DX. Hayden has a great video on how to do it, and he keeps it simple. When I climb towers and do those connections that are up high and in the elements all the time, we like to use this I forget what Gerald calls it. It's basically a pliable putty. You can stretch it and it sticks to itself. So what we'll do on those is we'll put a layer of some kind of silicone tape, or you could even use electrical tape on the first layer, but you don't want to just use electrical tape because that does come off and it's not waterproof. So on the first layer you want something that's silicone, something that's waterproof. Pipe wrap, I don't use this, but I do have it. It's weather resistant, strong adhesion, 100% waterproof. That could be an option as your first layer. There's also this, and for some stupid reason I got rid of the card, so I don't know what brand it is. I'll have to find it and link it. This is called a self-amalgamating tape, and it comes off and it's very sticky. It's a little bit pliable, but this also is great and it will stick to itself and it's waterproof. So what you want to do ideally is your first layer should be waterproof. There's also this coax wrap, which is not adhesive, but it is a silicone tape, so that can be wrapped over the top of something else that is sticky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a wrap of where'd it go? I'm going to put a wrap of electrical tape, and then I'm going to go over mine with the putty, because the Texas heat destroys tape. The putty lasts a lot longer. I'll do one quick layer of putty, and then I'm going to go back over it with the self-amalgamating tape to make sure it's sealed, and then I'll show you. I know that's probably overkill. Again, go to Ham Radio DX. Hayden shows you the simplest way, just using basically the self-amalgamating tape and the or self-fusion tape. It's tape that fuses together, amalgamating. And he uses basically the self-amalgamating tape and electrical tape, and that's really all you need. The main reason I put one layer of tape on the coax before putting putty, if you use putty, is so that if you ever need to get it off the coax to replace something or test or something, getting this off of coax connections is a pain unless you have a layer of something underneath it, so that when you razor blade or X-Acto knife cut it through this putty, it cuts that, it peels right off. So anytime you use the putty, put some layer of something underneath it, of some kind of tape, preferably waterproof, preferably self-adhesive, and then put the putty over it and finish it off with another layer of tape on the outside, and that'll help you remove that quicker if you ever need to. I did it once, realized my error when I went back up on the tower and had to change it, realized I did not put a layer of tape underneath it, and getting that putty off is a pain in the butt. So let me wrap them up and then I'll show you the finished product. Okay guys, this one on the Polyphaser, I don't plan on touching, and it's closest to the ground, so I'm going to assume it's going to get a lot more water splatter. So what I've done with this is the regular tape underneath. It's waterproof tape, but it's not self-amalgamating, so it's underneath it past the heat shrink. Then I put this clay, the sticky stuff on here, the pliable clay, and what I like about that is I can press it up into this Polyphaser corner to try to keep water from getting in any kind of seam, and then I can squeeze it and tighten it down so that it goes over this small area, even though it started on a big circumference. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the rest of it and finish it all the way past with the self-amalgamating tape, and that should finish it up. Okay guys, you can see how nice and clean that self-amalgamating tape is, and of course it sticks good to itself, and I think with the weather it also helps it adhere even more, and then it sticks really good of course to the putty layer. So that's sealed all the way down, and I could do one more I suppose with just the regular waterproof tape, or maybe even try that. Maybe I'll try that plumber's tape. It's 100% waterproof, sticky and weatherproof, so I might do one more over that just to see. because I really don't want to mess up with this. You can see this is my, it's not a ham radio antenna. This goes to a 900 megahertz antenna I use for my a miner, and I have used for mesh network. I can swap it out. And then you can see here, this is one I've had for quite a while. This is my HF. And then this one, I didn't have any tape at the time, so it's just the sticky stuff. And you can see how this stuff, everything sticks to it. So would have been a good idea if I didn't run out of tape to cover that. But I'm probably going to redo this run anyway, because this goes to my antenna through under the ground, as you can see, under all this and over to my Hustler antenna out there. All right, let's do the last two connections and we'll finish it up. All right, I wanted to test this pipe wrap tape. I've never used it out in this kind of application, but it's definitely sticky, sticks to itself. It doesn't say self-amalgamating, just says cold resistant, strong adhesion, 100% waterproof, non-corrosive. So this may not be heat resistant, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cover over with one layer of the self-amalgamating tape and go a little bit further even, just to short up. It's not easy to do it with it attached to the wall, but I'll do you can see it sticks real good. It's waterproof. I got it layered down below the connector so that water rolls off. So let's put one more layer of self-amalgamating and go onto the bottom connector down here. Okay, we've put a final layer of self-amalgamating tape. That stuff's really good stuff. You know, if you wanted a more simpler, or if it's not in the bad weather area like Texas here, although this is in the shade quite a bit, you probably could just use that and be good with it, maybe 2 layers. And just remember, when you wrap it, at the base I wrap straight and then I angle it, and you want to wrap at least like half. You want to overlap it at least half so that it sticks to itself, it fuses to itself, and then it fuses here at the end and makes it all nice and weatherproof. Looking at it now, I'm kind of wishing I mounted this sideways so that they stuck out to the side instead of up. So I may redo those at some point, but not today. Let's go to the last one. Okay, gang, we've got it all streamlined. We've got this circled and with 2 extra loops to give me a little play if I need, and zip tied together to be a little neater. The cables all come together here, and we've got this one nice and sealed underneath, nice and sealed up here, nice and sealed. I may squirt a little silicone here, maybe, I don't know. I'm sure they sealed it, but I might do that anyway. So that's pretty good. The only thing I got to do is find some kind of cover, or craft a cover that'll stick on here, so that no water gets in this. So I may just keep the bucket on here for now till I figure that out. If anyone's got any ideas or a product, put it in the comments, and I can take a look at it. But yeah, got to keep that protected until it gets sealed up with something else. That's it.
Okay, everyone, that's it. Hopefully this helps those of you who aren't as familiar with sealing or weatherproofing your coax connections outside. Make sure you just keep everything waterproof, watertight, and you'll be okay. For those of you with more experience or other thoughts or ideas, please leave those in the comments so that everyone can benefit from all of our experience. Thanks, everyone. 73.